Don't touch his phone! Get out here, right now! Get out!
Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where officers brutally attacked and tased an innocent man inside his boat who was helping his guests pull their houseboat that crashed in the lake. On June 25, 2022, Justin Ebel, owner of Ebel Voyagers Houseboats, received multiple calls into his office that one of their houseboats had run aground on a rock near the Ash River Visitor Center in Minnesota. In response to this, Mr. Ebel quickly went out in his 26-foot service boat to rescue the houseboat and arrived at the scene a few minutes later. Then, he worked to position his boat so he could secure lines to pull the houseboat off the rocks and started to head back to shore soon after. While Mr. Ebel made his way back to safety, he noticed two park rangers in a boat near a maintenance area at the visitor center. They were Rangers Steve Peterson and Ryan Houghton of the Voyagers National Park Law Enforcement Division. Apparently, they had watched Mr. Ebel pull his houseboat off the rocks and then decided to approach him soon after. The following is footage from Ranger Peterson's body cam, which shows the initial contact made by the Rangers.
Yep, that's all right. We're doing a contact with him. As soon as we're done with that, you can take him right wherever you need to go. What's that? No, that's not how this is going to work. Federal law enforcement officer. My name is...
I will call right now.
Call whoever you got to call. Go ahead.
You're not contacting that boat. This is bullshit.
Okay.
You contact the boat once I get them secured out of this wind.
If you're going to enter...
You're going to have a real problem.
Okay.
Both Rangers appeared to intercept Mr. Ebel's boat, and Ranger Houghton can be heard telling Mr. Ebel that he wanted to have a word before he could continue on his way to shore. In response, Mr. Ebel informed the Rangers that he wished to bring his houseboat to safety first, so that the harsh winds don't cause yet another wreck. Even though this made perfect sense, the Rangers appeared to have an issue with that. Regardless, Mr. Ebel made it clear that he was doing this for safety purposes only, adding that he would be happy to speak with the Rangers as soon as they were on shore. Then, as Mr. Ebel sailed away, the Rangers decided to make contact with him once more, but this time with some aggression to presumably intimidate Mr. Ebel. While coming up with a reason to stop Mr. Ebel, the Rangers suddenly accused him of operating his business illegally, and then proceeded to sail toward his boat while planning to jump on it and detain him. Amidst this, Ranger Peterson stated that Mr. Ebel was now in law enforcement contact with them and ordered Mr. Ebel to shut his boat's engines down immediately. However, Mr. Ebel continued to state that he wished to be at a safer spot first.
Hold on. Let's go talk to him. You want to talk to him first? Yeah. You don't have a permit to operate a business here anyway as far as... All right, sir. Come here. Just power down. We'll just come talk to you.
No, I'm going in. I'm going to park them. I'm going to park them right now.
What you're doing is interfering with agency functions, and I don't want to take you to jail for that. I said what you're doing right now is interfering with the agency's functions. Hey, calm down.
There's no reason for this.
Calm down. We're going to talk to you. Go up to him. I'm gonna... Shut the motor down! Shut the motor down! Shut the motor down, sir!
I'll shut the motor down because I'm helping one of my guests park the boat. Once you park the boat...
All right, I told you to shut the motor down. We're in the law enforcement contact with you right now.
I don't even care. You can do what you want, whatever, but I'm not stopping until I get my guests taken care of.
Okay,
this
you're making
is
this scene
ridiculous.
You're making this scene unsafe. Please shut the motor down. I don't want to have to escalate this.
You're the one escalating.
Not at all. Go up there. I'm hopping on.
After this, Ranger Peterson stated that Mr. Ebel was now being seized in a law enforcement contact before jumping onto Mr. Ebel's boat and promptly shutting the engine down. Right after this, Ranger Peterson can be seen aggressively grabbing onto Mr. Ebel's arm while ordering him to get out. It's to be noted that at this very point, Mr. Ebel still had no idea as to why he was being asked to stop, since neither of the Rangers completed their legal duty of letting him know beforehand. According to McLeod County's government website, the Minnesota Boating Guide is updated every year, which summarizes Minnesota's boating laws and regulations. The Boating Guide clearly outlines the proceedings of any stops made by law enforcement on the water, and it stated that if a patrol boat stops you on the water, put your watercraft in neutral and maintain your course. The patrol boat will pull up alongside your boat and inform you of why you were stopped and conduct a safety check. In Minnesota, law enforcement must have a valid reason to stop you on the water. While taking this into account, it becomes clear that the Rangers failed to fulfill their legal obligations when stopping Mr. Ebel, since they not only failed to inform him why they were stopping him, but they also did not appear to have a valid reason to stop him in the first place.
Boat. Get ready to hop on and ditch your boat. Stop right now! Stop right now! You are being seized in a law enforcement contact.
Don't touch his boat! Don't touch his boat!
Get out here! Right now! Get out!
Coming back to the footage, Ranger Peterson's body cam stopped recording during the scuffle he initiated, so we'll switch to Ranger Houghton's body cam, which luckily captured the rest of this outrageous encounter. After Ranger Peterson violently tackled Mr. Ebel to the ground, he attempted to detain him by placing him in handcuffs. While this went on, Ranger Houghton pulled out his taser and deployed it without warning.
Get your hands behind your back!
Look at Tase!
Stop!
Either.
Stop! Why?
What the fuck
Why
is
would
your
you do
deal?
that?
Because I'm trying to take care of my guest!
Other hand. Give me the other hand.
It's awkward in the spot there. Oh boy, you
Got any weapons on you, sir?
weapons of war.
Is there anything in here that we need to know
No,
about?
there's nothing. Come on.
Okay. Just relax, all right?
This is totally unnecessary.
It is.
Until you
No,
escalate.
well, why can't I
unnecessary.
park my fucking houseboat? Why can't I get my houseboat parked out of the
I told
fucking
you you're in
wind?
the middle of a law enforcement contact. You're interfering with agency's functions.
Cool. Two. Be advised, we have one in custody.
All right, give me this leg. What were you thinking?
Good copy.
I was trying to take care of my guest. You would have been more than happy to help you with it after I parked the boat.
No,
I
you're
don't
going to
have
jail.
anything. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. I don't think you have a choice in that right now.
According to the American Civil Liberties Union, under Section 309.3 of their TASER guidelines, it stated that a verbal warning of the intended use of the TASER should precede its application, unless it would otherwise endanger the safety of officers or when it is not practical due to the circumstances. The purpose of this warning is for the following: A. Provide the individual with a reasonable opportunity to voluntarily comply. B. Provide other officers and individuals with a warning that a taser may be deployed. Now, it could be said that Ranger Houghton was obligated to announce his use of the taser in this case, since it would have been a practical move to make here, and the situation may have de-escalated as a result. After Mr. Ebel was placed in handcuffs, he was dragged toward the front of his boat, where he then questioned Ranger Houghton as to why they didn't let him park his houseboat before making contact with them, emphasizing yet again his customer's safety. He stated that it was an old couple on the houseboat that needed help with safely parking it, and so he wanted to get that over with before dealing with the Rangers. In response to this, Ranger Houghton stated that it doesn't work like that. But Mr. Ebel explained that his customers usually don't know much about the boat they're in, so it's not unusual for him to go out on the lake and help them out. Mr. Ebel claimed that he intended on getting his customers to safe harbor first, and told the Rangers they would have been free to board the boat and speak to anyone once that was accomplished.
Alright, do me a favor, try to put your knees against your chest. I'm trying to get you up and I'll go towards you. Just hold me back. Bunch of fucking heroes. Alright, go ahead, we're gonna set you up here. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Can you get up?
Yeah, let me put this in.
Alright, just have a seat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who are you?
What's that?
What's your name? Okay, well, I can't hear very well.
Okay. Well, I announced that back there when we were trying to contact you. Okay?
Yeah, this is awesome. Never seen a bigger or nothing. What was wrong with me getting them into the bay without the wind so we could deal with this? And what did you need to make contact with them for?
Because something happened on park property, right? They were stuck, they were on a buoy, they went off in the markers.
On a buoy that
Okay.
fell because the ice went up. There's two old women, or two old men, or it's an old couple.
Good copy. Myself.
I don't know what the hell's going on. This is crazy.
I understand that, but we still have to do a report to find
Yeah,
out
well,
what
it's going to be a
happened,
great report.
That would have been. It would have been.
Yeah. Whatever. Assholes. I just don't know why you couldn't make contact after we were going to pull them in the park.
Because it doesn't work like that.
It's going to work like that for you. Do you understand that? This is going to change for you.
What's going to change?
The way you conduct that. What the hell? I can handle being that. That's fine. But it's windy out here, and we got an old couple on there. They
This
just
is
hit a rock.
average. This is average for cabin. This is everyday
You know
weather
what?
for
I've
cabin.
lived here my whole day. Do you know who the kind of people I have to deal with? They don't know a damn thing about a boat. You understand that? I know.
Then, while Mr. Ebel and Ranger Houghton waited for Ranger Peterson to secure his patrol boat so they could sail ashore, Mr. Ebel received a call from his wife. He was initially intercepted by Ranger Houghton while trying to pick his phone up, but was then allowed to speak to his wife while Ranger Houghton held his phone. On the call, Mr. Ebel informed his wife that he had been mistreated by the Rangers and was currently detained. He also told his wife to dispatch an employee to come assist the houseboat. During this conversation, Mr. Ebel's wife appeared to be in disbelief as to what happened, asking Ranger Houghton if all of what they did was necessary. In response, Ranger Houghton blatantly lied and claimed that Mr. Ebel had interfered with the government function that they were doing, adding that Mr. Ebel also started to holler at them. It goes without saying that all of these claims were false. Mr. Ebel was simply minding his own business when the Rangers decided to harass him.
Here. Don't even touch my.
You can't touch it right now.
Would you tell her I'm being arrested for? I got a business to run here. Hey, I got a business to run here. Let me push the nose or push the speakerphone. Hey, are you there? Hit the speakerphone thing again. Hit it on speaker. Hey, I need somebody to come to the. Oh well, to get the dogs off, okay? Because I've been handcuffed. I've been tased. I got tackled off my seat, and I got a bloody nose. And yet I got a houseboat running around in the wind with another one broke down the lake.
Who's your ranger?
I don't know. Tell me.
This guy. That's who's here.
Is this seriously necessary?
It was because he interfered with the government function that we were doing, okay? We were in the middle of a traffic stop, stopping the boat, and he interfered with it. Started hollering at us and everything else. Okay?
Well, I don't, this is ridiculous.
Just have my mother.
I'm gonna call him
Just
right now.
bother him on a Saturday.
Bye.
Soon after, the Rangers drove the boats back to the Ash River Visitor Center, where they were met by Mr. Eppel's wife and Ranger Kevin, who was a longtime ranger that the couple knew well. Initially, Mr. Eppel was given medical aid, and the taser prongs were removed from his thighs. Mr. Eppel was then taken to the jail in Bemidji in a park ranger truck with a holding cell in the back to be booked. For the sole offense, Mr. Eppel pled no contest to failure to obey a lawful order of a government employee or agent. He was fined $200. He had to pay an additional $30 processing fee, and the processing fees were waived for the other 4 citations, which included the dismissed charges of disorderly conduct, interfering with a government employee, improper display of boat registration, and assaulting or resisting an officer. As soon as Mr. Eppel was legally cleared, he called Park Superintendent Bob DeGrosse to register a complaint about Ranger Peterson's behavior. As a result of this, the National Park Service released around 100 pages of documentation that included reports written by Ranger Peterson and Houghton, along with Ranger Kevin, who tended to Mr. Eppel's taser wounds. Local media outlet, the Timber Jay, stated that both rangers had written police reports that were contrary to what actually happened. Their reports claimed that Mr. Eppel was the aggressor, but the body cam footage proves that the rangers were the ones who escalated the situation. Also, Ranger Peterson summarized in his report the force he used against Mr. Eppel as consisting of verbal commands, grabbing his arm, applying a pressure point beneath his nose, tackling, holding him down with his body weight, and handcuffs, all of which appear rather excessive in this situation. On the date of this recording, a Park Service spokesperson confirmed that both Rangers Peterson and Houghton are still on active duty despite the incident. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter